The diplomatic conference room aboard Station Harmony buzzed with tension as delegates from 17 species gathered to discuss trade agreements. Lieutenant Marcus Webb sat near the back, trying not to yawn through another hour of economic policy debates. He noticed her immediately when she entered. The Valoran delegate possessed an ethereal quality that made every human in the room glance twice. Her skin shimmered with a faint lavender hue, and her silver eyes held an intelligence that suggested she missed nothing. She moved with careful precision toward the Valoran section, her traditional robes flowing behind her. Marcus checked his datapad. Ambassador Lyra of Velar Prime, second-tier diplomat, recently assigned to human relations. The meeting droned on. Marcus found himself watching Lyra more than he probably should. She took meticulous notes, occasionally conferring with her assistant in their melodic language. When the Krellian ambassador made an offensive comment about human expansion policies, Marcus couldn't help himself. With respect, Ambassador Throck, humans expanded into uninhabited systems. Your people displaced 3 native populations during your growth phase. Perhaps we should discuss proportional responses to resource scarcity instead of casting stones. The room went silent. Throke's scales rippled with irritation, but he backed down. Marcus caught Lyra staring at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. During the recess, she approached him directly. "That was boldly done, Lieutenant Webb," she said, her accent adding musical notes to standard tone. Few humans challenged the Krellians so openly. Marcus shrugged. Someone had to say it. Besides, I'm just support staff. They can't really punish me for speaking truth. Her laugh reminded him of wind chimes. "I like your reasoning. Perhaps we could discuss diplomatic philosophy over refreshments. I find human perspectives fascinating." They spent the break talking. Lyra proved remarkably easy to converse with, her questions insightful without being intrusive. She wanted to understand human culture beyond the sterile briefing documents. Marcus found himself explaining Earth customs, sharing stories about his hometown, describing the ocean she'd never seen. "Your world sounds beautiful," she said softly. "Velar Prime has beauty, but it feels cold sometimes. Structured, everything in its proper place." "Sounds lonely," Marcus observed. Something flickered in her silver eyes. "Yes, very much so." The conference resumed. Over the following days, Marcus and Lyra kept finding reasons to interact. Coffee breaks became extended conversations. Working dinners turned into debates about philosophy and art. She showed him Valoran poetry, which, when translated, carried a melancholy that surprised him. "We're not a warm people," Lyra admitted one evening in the observation deck. Earth hung below them, a blue marble against the void. "We value logic, order, precision. Emotions are considered inefficient." "But you feel them anyway," Marcus said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, we feel them intensely. We simply don't act on them." She paused, watching Earth's continents drift past. "It's exhausting, Lieutenant." "Marcus." "Please, just Marcus." She smiled. Marcus, a strong name. "It suits you." The final day of the conference arrived with unexpected drama. A trade dispute between the Quellan Collective and the Terran Coalition threatened to derail months of negotiations. Tempers flared. Accusations flew across the chamber. Marcus noticed Lyra seemed distracted, almost agitated. Her usual composure had cracked slightly. When the Quellan ambassador directly insulted humanity's integrity, Marcus stood to respond, but Lyra rose faster. "The accusations against humanity are baseless and offensive," she declared, her voice cutting through the chaos. "I have spent considerable time studying Terran culture and interacting with their representatives. They have shown nothing but honesty and good faith. Perhaps the collective should examine its own motivations before questioning others." The room erupted. A Valoran defending humans so passionately was unprecedented. Lyra's own delegation looked shocked. The head Veloran ambassador, an older male named Torran, stared at her with open disapproval. After the session adjourned in chaos, Torran summoned Lyra immediately. Marcus waited outside the Veloran quarters, concerned. When she emerged 2 hours later, her face had gone pale, her composure shattered. "Lyra? What happened?" She looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "I need to speak with you, privately, now." They found an empty conference room. Lyra paced like a caged animal, her usual grace abandoned. "I made a terrible mistake," she whispered. "I didn't realize what I'd done until Torran explained it." "Explained what?" She turned to face him directly. "You must understand Veloran bonding customs. We're not like humans. We don't date casually or form temporary relationships. When a Veloran publicly defends another individual from outside their family with such passion, when they prioritize that person's honor above diplomatic protocol, it constitutes a bonding claim." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "A what?" "A bonding claim. It means I've chosen you as my mate. My only mate forever. Velorans bond once, Marcus. Only once. It's biologically and culturally absolute. By defending you and humanity so fiercely in front of witnesses from multiple species, I've announced everyone present that you are mine." The words hung in the air like a guillotine blade. "But I didn't know," Marcus said slowly. "You didn't know. It was a misunderstanding. That doesn't matter. The claim is made. It's irrevocable." Her voice cracked. Torran was furious. He said, "I've disgraced myself, attached myself to a human who can't possibly understand or reciprocate our bonding process." He's right. You have your whole life ahead of you. Multiple relationships, freedom to choose. I've trapped you without meaning to. She sank into a chair, her head in her hands. "I'll be recalled to Velar Prime. You'll be free of this." "I'm so sorry, Marcus. I let my emotions override my judgment. I forgot myself." Marcus stood there, processing. A week ago, he'd been a junior diplomat counting days until his rotation ended. Now an alien woman had accidentally claimed him as her lifelong partner through a cultural practice he'd never heard of. The smart thing would be relief. Let her go. Move on. Pretend this never happened. But as he looked at Lyra, shoulders shaking with suppressed tears, he remembered their conversations. Her laugh. The way she'd opened up about loneliness. How she'd seen Earth and called it beautiful. The poetry she'd shared. The person beneath the diplomatic mask. "What if I don't want you to go?" Her head snapped up. "What?" Marcus sat down across from her. "What if I don't want you recalled? What if I want to make this work?" "Marcus, you don't understand. This isn't a temporary arrangement. Veloran bonds are permanent. You'd be committing to a lifetime with someone you barely know. My people are cold, logical, emotionally distant. I can never give you the warmth and spontaneity humans value. You deserve better than a partner who struggles to express basic affection. You're expressing plenty right now," he pointed out gently. "And you haven't been cold with me. You've been real, honest. That matters more than following some emotional script. But your freedom is mine to give or keep," Marcus interrupted. "Look, I'm not saying this isn't complicated or scary. It absolutely is. But Lyra, I've spent more meaningful time with you this week than I have with anyone in years. When you talk, I listen. When you smile, I feel it. Maybe I'm crazy, but that seems like a decent foundation." She stared at him like he'd sprouted wings. "You would truly consider this? Accepting a permanent bond with me?" "I am considering it. Seriously." He reached across the table, offering his hand. After a moment's hesitation, she took it. Her skin felt cool, smooth. "I don't know much about Veloran bonding, but I know what I've seen in you. Someone kind, brilliant, passionate beneath the logic. Someone who defended strangers because it was right, consequences be damned. That's someone worth taking a chance on. Tears slipped down her lavender cheeks. This is illogical, impractical, potentially disastrous. Probably, Marcus agreed. But some of humanity's best decisions have been exactly that. She laughed through her tears. Your species is insane. Absolutely. Is that a deal breaker? Lyra squeezed his hand. I should say yes. I should be rational and let you go. But I don't want to be rational right now. I want to be selfish and keep you. She met his eyes. The bond is already formed on my end, Marcus. I claimed you without meaning to, because my heart overrode my training. If you walk away, I understand, but I will never bond another. You're it for me. The weight of that settled over him. One choice. One person. Forever. Marcus thought about his empty apartment on Earth. The shallow relationships that never quite connected. The feeling that he'd been waiting for something without knowing what. Maybe this was it. Then I guess you're stuck with me, he said. We'll figure out the details together. Lyra stood, pulling him up with her. Then she did something that surprised him. She wrapped her arms around him in a very human gesture, burying her face against his shoulder. Thank you, she whispered. I promise I'll spend our lives earning this choice. Marcus held her close. We'll both earn it, together. Outside the window, Earth continued its slow rotation. Somewhere below, life went on as normal. But up here, in a conference room on a space station, a human and an alien had just chosen each other across every logical argument against it. Ambassador Terran would file his protests. Bureaucrats' woe